So you're thinking about traveling to San Francisco. So I just want to talk a little bit about that as a person who was formerly homeless, formerly incarcerated in San Francisco, ways to navigate San Francisco to be safe and also to keep others safe. So first of all, there's a lot of videos that you see on various news channels on YouTube that would make you think that the entire city of San Francisco is overrun by drug zombies or things of that. And I have to say, I was one of those so-called drug zombies, but a lot of that is overhyped. You could go to certain parts of San Francisco and never run into someone who's under the influence or having a mental health crisis. I mean, it is something that you see here, but a lot of it is concentrated into various spaces that you may never get into. But just a few things to think about. First of all, if you drive into the city of San Francisco and you're going to be parking anywhere, you cannot leave anything in your car. Not even a quarter in between the cars. You cannot leave anything in your car. And a lot of people think that it's just the unhoused people that break into cars. There's organized crime that looks specifically to see if your Wi-Fi is engaged, to see if there's electronics in your car, and they can use something like a broken spark plug or other things to break into your car. There's other BIP things that they use to break in your car. It doesn't take much. So if you're going to come to the city, you cannot leave anything in your car. So that's number one. Number two, a lot of the various activities that you see on YouTube and other channels are concentrated in what's called the Tenderloin area of San Francisco, but mostly the lower Tenderloin area of San Francisco and around South of Market. And that's actually where there's a lot of really good restaurants around there. So I would just say if you choose to go into those areas, you just have to use caution. For the most part, there's no reason that a lot of people coming from out of town would go to the various parts because they're mostly concentrated around low-income housing, and there's just not a lot around there that is a big draw, but you might be walking through those areas. I would say do your due diligence, do your research, especially if you're booking a hotel or an Airbnb in San Francisco. You really have to do your research. One of the hotels that specifically caters to out-of-towners in San Francisco, especially European tourists, is right in that area where, it's an open air drug market. I'm not going to exaggerate. So, and there has been a lot of efforts to try to quote unquote clean up those areas and try to make it safer for the tourists. But I'm just saying, Google and look around the different areas to see what kind of feedback is provided about your hotel. But if you're staying in other parts of the city, that might not be your experience at all. Number three, don't take pictures of the homeless when they're in various states. It's really not, people are in the worst state. They're suffering. Just leave them alone. If you're going to come to San Francisco, leave them alone. I would say if you're interested in how to help people, give people snacks, give people socks. You could give people a couple bucks. You say, oh, well, they might spend it on drugs. Well, lots of people spend money on drugs. You might be coming to San Francisco because you want to spend money on drugs. It's hard to say. But really, if you're having particular issues with someone and you think maybe they're having a mental health crisis, if you call what's called 311 in San Francisco, they can dispatch a team of people who are not the police to come out and do a potential intervention with the person. And that's something that we strongly suggest, instead of calling the police, call alternatives to the police in San Francisco. So that's just a couple tips. If you're coming to the city, I mean, there's lots of great things to eat. We have great weather, especially the best weather in San Francisco typically is September and October. It's foggy a lot of times, so you have to bring something, bring a sweatshirt and bring shorts a lot of the time. That's generally our weather. But it's a beautiful city and people should enjoy it. You just have to be cautious and you have to do your research.